Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. Today, I'm here to show you how to make a faux step card. I created this card. It's part of the International Crafters Video Hop, and we're sharing projects, masculine projects this month. And so you're going to be able to hop from demonstrator to demonstrator across the YouTube videos and check out all of the masculine projects that they have created for you. So I hope you'll take the time. The links are all underneath this video. I decided to make a faux step card using the new online exclusive suite called A Little Latte. And I thought it was kind of perfect for that, somebody, a masculine friend or family member who loves coffee. And we have lots of those. I have lots of those in my family. So it's such a great suite. It's part of the online exclusives, and you can grab it in the online store before it's gone. But today I want to show you how to make a faux step card. So let's switch over, and I'll talk a little bit about the faux step card, and then we'll get started. So I have a really hard time making step cards the traditional way, where you cut and score on a single piece of cardstock. Part of it is because I don't see very well three-dimensionally. And I don't know, my husband always gives me a hard time about that. And so I always cut and score getting it going the wrong way. But with a faux step card, so you can see this is the step card, you actually cut two pieces of paper and adhere them together to create that step. And the card folds. So this is, now this is North America sizes, 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to talk probably in North America sizes, but underneath this video will be the measurements if you are making your card using metric sized paper. But basically, you're going to cut a half a sheet of your cardstock, regardless of which size you're using, for the main card base, and then I'll give you the scoring a little later. But it's basically half a sheet cut lengthways, and then you cut another piece, long and narrow piece, for this size of card. You can do these in different ways to go over it and create that step. Isn't it pretty? This is that A Little Latte suite, or Latte Love bundle, and I've cut out the French press from our holographic paper, foil paper, and then there's a piece of vellum and a piece of early espresso. My brain went blank. Early espresso that looks like it's got the coffee in it. So I thought this was I mean, it would work for any kind of card. Doesn't matter masculine or feminine, but it definitely is a little bit more masculine. Okay, so let's show you how easy it is to make one of these faux step cards. Now, again, I'm talking in Imperial sizing, but if you go to my blog, or underneath this video, sorry, you will find, well, my blog will have it as well. You will find the measurements in metric too. Okay, so the first piece you cut is basically half a sheet of cardstock. This is early espresso, and I've cut it lengthways. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, and I have scored it already. Let's just go across the score. So you're going to score it at 1 inch, 2 inches, 6 1/2 inches. Oopsie, that's cut off the thing. So 1 inch, 2 inches, and 6 1/2 inches. And then you're going to cut a second piece of early espresso cardstock, and I've cut this 2 3/4 by 11, and it's scored at 5 1/2. So it's pretty easy. So then you can just take, we'll do this one first. This is the one that goes over top, creates that step. So we just score that. Use your bone folder to give it a good burnish. And then your main card base, you're going to fold. You want to fold it accordion. So you're going to do mountain, valley, and then mountain. So you get your step created. And of course, you're going to take your bone folder and give those score lines a really good burnish so your card sits nicely like that. Okay, so that creates the step. This creates the piece that goes over top. And so now you have a piece. So if you had taken a piece of cardstock and cut and scored the same piece of cardstock, you absolutely could have done this. But if you're like me, you would have struggled with it. But with this way of doing it, it's easy. Okay, so those are my main card bases. We'll work with this one first. This designer series paper is so pretty. Look at these, you know, with different kinds of cups. This has got all tiny little cups. So for the North America size, which I'm going to talk about. So this piece of designer series paper is cut 4 inches by 4 1/4, and it's going to adhere on to this large section of our main card base. So it's going to be the pattern that is behind the main part of the card. So it just goes on like that. Okay, so now we can take and put this piece on. So the way this smaller part of the card base goes on, did I do that? No, actually I have one more piece of designer series paper to put on first. So this piece, look at how pretty this is. It's the back side of the one that looks like little hearts. And so this piece is cut 3/4 of an inch by 4 in North America. And that'll go on there. Like that. Okay, so now this piece, tuck over the card base, including this step part, and it's going to adhere. So you want to get it lined up roughly in the middle. So I always do the first, I adhere to my first section, kind of that bottom flap first. And I put glue on. Remember, this is only 1 inch wide, so you don't want your glue very wide. So I take it and adhere it onto that first 1 inch flap, aligned with the bottom of your card and kind of even on both sides like that. And then you can fold your card back up into its step. And now you can take and adhere it on the back. And on this one, I just take and put my glue. You can use tear and tape if you want, but I just take liquid glue and put, you know, kind of 1/4 of an inch on, you know, towards the inside so that you're not getting the glue splodging out. And now this gets adhered to the back of the card. Got a little bit of glue coming out the bottom, got too close to the edge. All right, so now we've got our step card base is created. I cut a piece of this really pretty, I love this piece of designer series paper, and this is cut 2.5 by 5. Let's see, 2.5 by 5 1/4. And so we'll adhere this. So if you cut, for example, this heart one and you wanted that on the front, you do have to kind of watch which way your patterns go. That's why I like to use ones that aren't, doesn't have a definite way that the pattern goes. Okay, so we have a card base done. How easy was that? Now we're going to create this French press. So to make the French press, you're going to cut one of the main part of the French press from the holographic paper, the inside from the vellum cardstock, and then this one that looks like kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of like a canister, but it's actually the coffee that goes in the bottom. So turn it over. And this is just going to adhere. Now there is a little notch. I don't know if I think this is used for something else, but I actually align that notch with the top of my French press. So it's the perfect right size for the lid of the French press. So I put a little bit of glue on the lid a little bit of glue there. Again, don't want a lot because I don't want it splodging out. And so then I just took and adhered my vellum over top, or on the back of my French press. So you can see I've got my vellum on the back. Now I could have put the coffee on the inside, and I probably should have. Actually, I'm going to lift that up and put the coffee on the inside because I really want the coffee kind of showing more. You could put it behind, but it wouldn't show very much. So I'm just going to take it and tuck it in behind, and it will adhere because I've got the glue on that bottom kind of section of mine. There we go. And then I'm gonna, oh, actually, I think it will adhere. So now I've got my coffee in my French press, and I'm gonna use dimensionals. I've got some here somewhere. Oh, I've got some on this. I always cut around the outside of my sheet of dimensionals when I've used all the full ones up. I just take my scissors and kind of snip around, and now I've got a whole bunch of pieces that I can use. Now, the one thing to remember is you will see adhesive behind vellum. You can see adhesive through vellum. So I'm making sure that my dimensionals are going behind the holographic paper and behind the early espresso so that it doesn't show through. And I'm just going to take and adhere that to my card. So now I've basically got my card done. I just need a sentiment. And there are some great sentiments. I didn't show you this. This is the Latte Love bundle. So you've got, you know, the cup, and then the circle of the cup, and then of course you can put these different patterns that the baristas are so clever at doing, the heart and the leaf that you can put on the inside. And I'm going to use the thanks so much sentiment, but there are some great sentiment. Look at this. This coffee stain is really cool. All right, so let's get my. Now the dies for this, remember I said, so this is the French press die, and then this was the one I used for the inside, the vellum, and somewhere, oh, there's the one I used for the coffee. But you have that circle for the kind of the outline of the coffee cup, the top of the coffee cup, the cup itself, and then some little cups and some other, you know, coffee pouring devices, and then the spoon. So some really cool dies that are part of this. We use this stamp set in a class I had the other day, and they all just loved it. So I'm going to use Early Espresso to stamp my sentiment. Now this piece is 1/2 inch, and it's way longer than I actually need. It was just a scrap, but I'm going to stamp the thanks so much. And then I'm just going to cut this off. You really only need a piece that is, let's see, how wide is this, or how wide is this? About 2 inches is all you need. And so I've also got a piece of Early Espresso that is 3/4 of an inch. And again, you could make it 2 1/4 inches long, and it would be plenty. So I'm going to trim that as well. So I'm going to use dimensionals on my, oops. Oops, get the dimensionals off. All right, so I'm going to use the dimensionals on to adhere this to the Early Espresso, and then I'm just going to take and trim. So if you had cut your pieces, you wouldn't have to do that trimming like I did. And then I'm going to use dimensionals on the back as well. Now this is a little wider, so I'm going to kind of stack my dimensionals, stagger them a little bit, as opposed to just putting them straight across, because it would make your sentiment a little bit wobbly if you did that. And then this is just going to go on like that. How easy is that? Now, if you wanted to write, you could put, I don't have a piece of basic white, but you could cut a piece that is 4 inches by 4 1/4 and put on the inside of the card. I'll do that after. Now, embellishments. We need embellishments. These are called adhesive-backed swirl dots, and they are so pretty. They are part of the suite. They are cream-colored, and then the kind of calypso coral colored, and then pecan pie. So I'm going to, let's see, I think I'm going to use the pecan pie ones just because they'll show up better on my this pretty designer series paper. So I just put 3 of those on. But there you go. That is a faux step card made out using the a little latte, or what's it called? A little latte or latte love online exclusive that you can get your hands on. Started March 5th. And it's while supplies last with online exclusives. These are only will appear in my online store. They won't appear in catalogs. So if you want this suite, because it's so amazing, you want to get your hands on it sooner than later. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Again, all of the measurements, both in imperial and metric, will be underneath this video. And so you can follow along on the video, get the measurements from below it. And then don't forget to check out all of the other amazing projects that have been shared as part of this video hop. And the links of those are all under the video, this video as well. All right. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you come back next month and see what we have to share for you in our next hop. Thanks for joining. Happy stamping. Bye.